Before we get into today's video, I do want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful week. I hope you guys have done something fun other than just work. I hope you guys got to get outside and get some sunshine, drink some water. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about a kind of older case, but it has had an update over the past couple years. And this is a case that I have followed, but one of my really good friends has been asking me to do this case for so long. So we're going to do it today. Now, if you have heard about this case before, let me just tell you guys real quick. I am going to put together a video with the public information that's already out there. The information that's already out there, I'm going to filter it through my own opinions and through my own words. However, at the end of the video, I'm going to give you guys my opinion and I'm going to tell you something or bring up a theory that you may not have heard before. And it's really kind of bothering me, to be honest. So stay to the end of the video if you guys want to know my opinion on the case and things that happened. And also if you want to know this other little tidbit that is just buzzing. I'm like, wait a minute. This is not adding up. Hold on. Okay, so this is the case of Brittanee Drexel. This story just brings back so many familiar memories, right? And it also is a cautionary tale. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, Factor. Factor makes meeting your nutrition goals easier and better than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen, pre-packaged meals that are dietitian approved right to your doorstep. Factor's team of gourmet chefs create each meal using only ingredients with integrity to help you feel your best. And if you're too busy this summer, making plans, hopefully taking trips and spending time with your family, your friends, or your loved ones, but you want to make sure you're still eating well, with Factor you can skip the extra trip to the grocery store and all the chopping, the prepping, and the cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality that you need. And with Factor, you can elevate eating at home with Factor's upscale surf and turf and surf and surf meal options like roasted garlic filet mignon and shrimp and Cajun spice shrimp and salmon. And to make it even better, Factor is now owned by HelloFresh, and with a wider array of meals to choose from, there's something for everyone. I love switching between the brands, and now my listeners can enjoy both brands at a discount with me. If you want to try Factor, all you gotta do is go to factor75.com and use my code Christina Randall, and you can save 50% off of your first box today. Yes, just go to factor75.com, use my code Christina Randall, and you can get 50% off of your first box today. Thanks again, Factor. So let's just start at the beginning. Brittanee Drexel was born in Rochester, New York on October 7th, 1991 to her father John and her mother Dawn. The two were only teenagers at the time, and not long after Brittanee was born, they parted ways. Now, shortly after Brittanee's mom Dawn split with her biological father, she met a man named Chad Drexel, and they fell in love, and Chad just loved Brittanee like his own. He was a very hands-on father with her, and Dawn really just felt like she had found the perfect situation for herself and for her daughter. She ended up marrying Chad, and Chad did adopt Brittanee, and that is how Brittanee got the name Brittanee Drexel. After Chad's service in the military ended, they all moved in together in a suburb of Rochester, New York. Brittanee was actually born with an anomaly in her right eye that caused her to build up more tissue behind the lens, which eventually made her right eye go blind and required several surgeries. In Brittanee's attempt to stop that right eye from wandering, she would wear contact lenses. When you looked at Brittanee's face, the first thing that would stand out to you is the beautiful, bright blue crystal eyes. Brittanee, for the most part, was just a normal young girl growing up and then went on to be a normal teenager in high school. She did little things, she got in trouble, she snuck around, but in all, she was a good girl. She was even a soccer star at her high school, and she had a lot of friends and a lot of people that loved her. At around 16 years old, Brittanee got in contact with her biological father, and he said that he would fly to see her and he would bring her to see him, and they would spend time with each other and just try to get to know each other.
We just clicked like in 5 minutes. It was just such a great moment. She looked like me. Her attitude, her looks, just, I was in awe. There's no words for it. I was just very happy. I would fly up to go see her, take her shopping, go see the movies, go to restaurants, just anything I can do to spend time and get to know her more.
Things seemed to be going really good for Brittanee. She had a lot of friends in school. She was a soccer star. She went on to be a junior in high school. She had parents that loved her very much. However, things started to really take a rough patch with Brittanee when her parents, her mother and her adopted father, told her that they would be splitting up and getting a divorce. Because of the divorce, her father, Chad, did move out of the house and Brittanee stayed in the home with her mother, Dawn. That brings us to 2009, with Brittanee being 17 years old and being a junior in high school. Brittanee asked her mother if she could go to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for spring break with her boyfriend and some of her girlfriends. Her mother initially said, "No, absolutely not. I don't know them kids. I don't know them people. I mean, it is a long drive. You are many hours away from home on the beach during spring break." The answer is no, no, and no again. Of course, this caused problems. 17-year-old Brittanee with her mother. I'm sure she said things like, "I'm almost an adult. I'm about to be 18. Mom, you're so unfair. Everybody's going. Everybody's doing it. Da, 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 da." But nevertheless, Brittanee's mom, Dawn, put her foot down and said, "No, it doesn't matter. You're my daughter. Something bad will happen. I'm concerned. There are no adults that I know of that are going. The answer is no."
And I told her, I said, "No, Brittanee." She goes, "Why? Nothing's going to happen to me, Mom. There's no parental supervision. I don't know these kids you're going with." And I said, "Something's going to happen to you."
A couple days later, Brittanee came to her mom and said, "Okay, fine. If I can't go to Myrtle Beach, can I go for a couple days and stay with this friend for spring break?" Her mom said, "Okay, fine. You can go. Call me when you get there." However, that day that Brittanee went to her friend's house, she actually went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and didn't tell her mother. 3 days later, after Brittanee and her friends arrived at the Bar Harbor Hotel in Myrtle Beach, Brittanee called her mother once during the daytime and told her that she was at the beach. Her mother wasn't worried because she assumed that Brittanee was referring to a nearby beach along the Lake Ontario shoreline. A trip there made sense to her since the temperature in Rochester area was 83 degrees, warm enough for going to a close beach. Brittanee wasn't at that close beach, and she was very far away at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, hanging out, partying with her friends, and just doing whatever. It is said that around 8 p.m. that evening, Brittanee allegedly got into an argument with some of her girlfriends in the hotel room over a pair of borrowed shorts, which, hello, sounds like most of our youth, right? You got your girlfriends. "Can I borrow them bongo shorts? Can I borrow that jacket? Da, 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 da." They say yes, they say no, or you just borrow it from them, or they just borrow it from you. Next thing you know, you guys are arguing over a pair of shorts. Nevertheless, it is alleged that she got into this argument with the girls that she was with over a borrowed pair of shorts, and she left the hotel room. When Brittanee left, she walked about 1.5 miles down South Ocean Boulevard to visit a longtime friend who was staying at the Blue Water Resort. Security cameras at the resort showed her arriving. Brittanee was carrying a beige purse and wearing a black and white tank top, flip-flops, and shorts. The camera shows her leaving at around 8:45 p.m. Brittanee and her boyfriend had been texting back and forth the whole entire time. Okay, you got a young 17-year-old girl with her young boyfriend. They're doing like this the whole entire time. It is said that Brittanee and her boyfriend John text constantly. So when she stopped texting him at 9:15 p.m., John got super worried. He knew that this was not like her. Why wasn't she responding to his text all of a sudden? He had a bad feeling about that. Since he couldn't get a hold of her, John began to frantically call all of her friends. Hey, have you heard from Brittanee? She's not responding to a text. Where is she at? What is she doing? After exhausting all of John's options, he sent a text message and said, I'm about to call your mom. If you don't respond to me, I'm worried. I'm going to call your mom. Now, typically, if you've got a teenager that maybe is just ignoring text messages, maybe they're smoking, doing something, when you say I'm about to call your mama, they going to get on the phone real quick and call you back. However, Brittanee did not call John back. So John called Dawn, Brittanee's mother. And can you imagine, y'all, this phone call? Dawn immediately jumped up and called Chad, Brittanee's father. They were both like frantically calling people, and she called, reported her missing. And the next thing you know, they were booking a flight so they could fly down to Myrtle Beach to look for her. Brittanee's mom, Dawn, immediately knew something was wrong. Remember, she told her from the very beginning, you can't go there. Something bad is going to happen. She said she had like an intuition, was like she knew that her daughter shouldn't go there. So when she gets this phone call and finds out that nobody knows where she's at, she had a horrible feeling. The Myrtle Beach police officers the next morning immediately began to investigate. They started pulling, security camera footage from the hotel in different places around, trying to figure out like where she was, at what time, and what direction she went to. They located the security camera footage from the Blue Water Resort and found the friends Brittanee visited. The last person who had reported seeing Brittanee before she had left was identified as a man named Peter, a 20-year-old nightclub promoter who she had known from the Rochester area and who was also vacationing in Myrtle Beach. They had apparently met at a local nightclub the night before, and after the police interviewed Peter and the men he was sharing hotel rooms with, the cops said that they didn't have any persons of interest, but that no one had been ruled in or out. The cops went into her hotel room. They searched all of the things. They found all of the clothes that she brought and the bag/suitcase that she had packed to bring there, all of the shoes that she had left and her toiletries, but they did not find her purse and her cell phone. Investigators did find traffic camera footage of Brittanee walking back to her hotel after leaving Peter's, where she can be seen texting. The phone's network pings were tracked on a path leading 50 to 60 miles south of Myrtle Beach in an area along Route 17 near the Georgetown-Charleston County line. The pings had stopped abruptly early in the morning of April 26. Areas near there and around Myrtle Beach, where a body could have been disposed of, were then searched for 11 days, but nothing conclusive was found. In 2011, the police searched an apartment in Georgetown County, but that effort didn't yield any information that helped identify a suspect either. Because of this, people were pointing the finger every which way you could look. The people that she was in the hotel room with, that she got into an argument with, the other girls, or young ladies, teenagers, they were blamed for things. This guy, Peter, because he was the last known person to see her. And actually, Dawn, Brittanee's mother, and Peter, that 20-year-old club promoter that had seen her last, actually got into quite a bit of a confrontation on a Dr. Phil show.
Okay, but John, come on. You have to understand, these parents are desperate. And you guys should be leaning forward to do anything and everything that you can possibly do. I mean, Peter may know something that he doesn't even understand the significance of here. This isn't about trying to throw Peter under the bus, but we've got to help these parents try to find this innocent young girl.
No, Dr. Phil, Peter got thrown under the bus.
We're focused on Brittanee, and I believe, what we're trying to say is, Peter, we want to find Brittanee. Neither one of you kids have stepped up and said, you know what, let me try to help you find Brittanee. It's like you guys didn't even care. You don't care about her. Because you know what? There was 5 boys that came to my hotel when I got here, and they went out and they helped John Greco pass out flyers. They were looking for her. None of you ever offered.
Dawn, being a loving and desperate mother, actually packed up all of her things and moved all the way to Myrtle Beach so she could be in the place that Brittanee was last seen, so she could keep looking, so she could look for clues, so she could look for her daughter. You can only imagine, you guys, as a mother, moving there, driving down the road, going to the grocery store, every girl you see walking, every blonde hair you see in a bun or down when you're, getting groceries or you're stopping for gas, she's looking. Is that her? Is that her body frame? Do I hear her voice? Do I hear her laugh? You're going to restaurants. It had to be unimaginably hard for Dawn, Brittanee's mother. Days turned into weeks, turned into months, turned into years, and nobody knew what happened to Brittanee. It's like she just disappeared. Dawn actually believed that her daughter could have possibly been trafficked, but the Myrtle Beach police did not think that that was what happened at all. They actually claimed that there was little to no trafficking in their area at all. However, in 2019, report conducted by the South Carolina Human Trafficking Task Force rated Harry County as the #1 county in South Carolina for reported human T victims. So obviously it was going on there. Even though they said that, oh, no, not here. That never happens here. Now let's bring it back to 2016. 7 years after Brittanee went missing. Seemingly, there was a break in the case. In June of that year, 2016, the FBI held a news conference where they stated that they believed that Brittanee had been murdered shortly after her disappearance. They said that she was abducted from Myrtle Beach and taken somewhere to the vicinity of Georgetown, near where the cell phone pings had ended. They put up a $25,000 reward for information leading to the resolution of the case. 2 months later, the Charleston Post and Courier reported that there were new developments from a bond hearing for a man named Timothy, also known as Deshaun, who was an inmate serving time in a state prison on an unrelated charge. The FBI agents testified that earlier that year, a man named Taquan, another South Carolina inmate who was serving a 25-year sentence for manslaughter, told them that in 2009, shortly after Brittanee disappeared, that he had gone to visit a sketchy stash house to give money to Timothy's father. He said that he walked through the house and he saw Timothy S.A.ing Brittanee with other people present. He said that he went to the backyard where he found Timothy's father and made his payment. While they were there talking, Brittanee apparently ran from the house but was soon recaptured. Taquan said that he saw Timothy assault Brittanee and then take her back inside. He said that he heard 2 loud bangs, which he assumed were the sounds of Brittanee's life ending. Taquan then also claimed that he saw a body being wrapped up, or that was wrapped up, being moved and dumped into an area that was full of alligators. So at this point, the rumors went crazy, you guys. I mean, people are like, oh my gosh, this is obviously what happened to her. You have a man literally in prison admitting to seeing and knowing what happened, and they never found her body. It makes the most sense, like somebody snatched her, This is why they have never found any remains or anything. There's alligators all over the places in different swamps there, and the body was allegedly dumped in this one known place that had a lot of alligators. And then Taquan's statements were partially corroborated by another inmate. So at this point, investigators thought this has got to be it. We've got to go and get this other guy that Taquan was telling them about, Timothy. Now we have another witness that was, saying, yeah, some of this stuff really actually happened. And so they moved forward with this case. This guy, Timothy, ended up being federally indicted for the case of Brittanee Drexel. Now, when Timothy was questioned, he said he didn't know Brittanee. He had no idea who she was. Matter of fact, he said he didn't know who Taquan was. He had no idea who he was. Now, the guy Taquan knew his father, and actually Timothy's father had been in trouble for kind of similar things. And therefore, Timothy just was saying that he was caught up in this. He was like, I have no idea who these people are. I did not do this. They're setting me up. Now, I will tell you, people in prison will do stuff like that. They got 25 years, okay? They want to try to get their sentence cut. Maybe they'll go make up a story. Maybe they'll go tell something that's true. You just never know. The bond hearing had been held after Timothy's arrest on a federal indictment for interfering in interstate commerce, a charge that had come from his role as the gateway driver in a 2011 robbery of a McDonald's. It was unusual because Timothy had already been convicted for his involvement in the crime in the state court and had been sentenced to probation that he had already finished by the time of the federal charges. Timothy's lawyer called the new charge a squeeze based on nothing more than the statement of two jailed informants. Timothy's mother was flipping out. She was calling all of this situation crazy. She said she knew her son could not be part of this. So Timothy got a lawyer. They ended up doing a polygraph test on Timothy to see if he had any part of this situation, and come to find out, the FBI came back and said that he failed or was deceptive in part of his polygraph test. So at this point, the public, anybody that knows anything, thinks that this guy Timothy did it. Now, this polygraph test was actually part of a plea deal that Timothy was going to take. But because of the deception and different parts of the test being messed up, Timothy was going to take the test again. When he went to go take the test again, he was too angry to actually take the test. So they were having all of these issues, and they couldn't go through with the plea deal that Timothy was taking. So before the sentencing hearing was scheduled, Timothy was found to have violated the terms of his bail and was held in Charleston County Jail. And then in August, the judge ordered his bail to be reinstated on the condition that he remained on house arrest until a decision was made for his case by the Supreme Court. In June of 2019, the Supreme Court decided to proceed with this case against Timothy. 6 months later, Timothy was sentenced to time served for the other charges and released. Just because Timothy was released, they had not let go of the whole Brittanee Drexel case situation. They were still following him about this. And the guy Taquan was still giving more information and talking about Brittanee and there being like 8 to 12 guys that had something to do with this. And then, in early May of 2022, a man named Raymond Moody, who was a 62-year-old registered S offender, turned himself in to the Georgetown County Sheriff's Office for an obstruction of justice charge. The police had first considered Raymond a person of interest in the Brittanee's disappearance as early as 2012. Now, Raymond had already served 21 years out of a 40-year sentence for snatching up an 8-year-old back in the 80s and SAing her. Now, I listened to an interview between the investigators and Raymond's girlfriend, and we're going to get to her. And they said that it wasn't just one girl, that it was 7. Okay? And so why this man was ever even on the streets, if that was true, is a huge injustice. According to the investigators, Raymond lived in California back in the 80s and had snatched up 7 young ladies between the ages of 8 and 18. Listen to this.
I mean, I be honest, I can't tell you where I was 2 weeks ago or really where he was. Like I said, I wake up, sometimes he's not there, and he'll tell me he couldn't sleep, he just went for a ride. Or he'll act like he's mad and say he needs breathing room for a couple days, and I don't see him for a couple days. And so and that's been going on for 3 years.
Did he ever tell you anything about Brittanee? Did he ever mention her name?
No. The only thing, when I woke up that night, and I can't even say it was in that time frame because I really don't know.
Right.
But I woke up, he wasn't there. He came back, I'm going to say, about 7 o'clock. And I asked him, where the hell have you been? And he said, I just woke up and couldn't sleep, so I went for a ride and stopped somewhere and had coffee and stuff. That's what he said. But I can't tell you that's not what he did. I can't tell you that is what he did because I don't know. I knew he was, I'll tell you what I know. I know he was arrested.
Well, let me tell you what happened, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Okay.
In the early 80s, he was arrested for kidnapping, raping 7 different young girls in California. One at the age of 9, the oldest at the age of 18. He got a 20-year sentence. I want to talk to you, okay? Just hear me out. This is the file that came with him in California. I want to tell you, so you know that I ain't lying to you. This is the stuff that I highlighted that they sent me, that was done out there. March 30th, 1983, at Dudley Youth, 17 years old. At knife point. January 29, 1983, abducted another female, age 8, walking down the street. June 2nd, 1982, female, age 10, abducted her, sodomized her. August 1st, 1982, female, 19 years old, followed her to her house, her and another girl, forcefully entered the residence, raped the victim in a bedroom. September 24th, 1982. Well, that's when that happened, sorry. All these, but I'm telling you that for a reason. It goes on. He was eventually caught. He confessed to it. His own words. He's sick. And he needs help. It's starting again.
What, that's starting again?
This stuff is starting again. There's some behavior that's going on, and I think you've seen it. You've noticed it. Listen to them kids. Don't go through it all. I want you so you know.
Now that was actually this guy Raymond's girlfriend, Angel Voss. She was called in for questioning back in 2011. If you guys see this video, you see the bottom corner. This is back in 2011. And they were looking at Raymond back then, but they didn't have anything on him. Now, when they began to talk to Angel, his girlfriend, they told her everything. She had been with him for 3 years at this point. So you got 2011, they're interviewing her. She said she had been with Raymond for 3 years. That brings them back to being together since 2008. Brittanee goes missing in 2009. So she ought to know something. Nevertheless, she cried, said she didn't know anything. She did kind of admit that he had some weird sexual tendencies. She cried a little bit. She leaves. She goes back to him. That's 2011. So from 2008 all the way now to 2022, she's still with him. She's got children that she had living in the home with this man. I mean, get some self-esteem, girlfriend. So when Raymond was brought in 2022, he was questioned again about the Brittanee Drexel case, and this is when he confessed. Not only did he confess, but he said that he could take the police to where her remains were. And not only did he say he could take them to where Brittanee's remains were, he said, I can tell you where they're at. I can tell you that she's face down, 6 feet under the ground, and what direction her head is pointing.
I wasn't thinking of doing anything wrong. We were just having a good time.
What caused things to go wrong?
Nothing caused it but my mind. Yeah. Just for some reason, just reverted back to the kind of person I used to be. I thought strangling her. And I was in a panic. I didn't know what to do. I made her take her clothes off.
Yeah.
And she was pretty cooperative.
Yeah, she was.
But it was against her will.
It was. Yeah. Do you remember what she was like at any point after you raped her before she died?
She was just scared. She was scared, I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
His stipulations was that if he told them what happened, they had to leave his girlfriend of 15 years at this point out of it. You cannot bring my girlfriend, Angel Voss, into it. She knew nothing about anything. I'll tell you where she's at. I'll tell you where the body is. I'll tell you everything, but you got to keep Angel out, which leads me to believe they had him on this other charge and they were doing the police thing. We know we're going to take your girlfriend to prison. How you think when your girlfriend at 15 years, we're going to get your kids. We're going to get her kids, how they do, right? So that's why I think he ended up confessing. After, I guess, investigators agreed and then went to Angel and gave her some sort of deal of cooperation. This is when Raymond said that they were in Myrtle Beach the night that Brittanee went missing and that they were outside smoking green and that Brittanee came by and said, oh, that smells good. And it was the two of them. And they said, and Raymond said, do you want some to Brittanee? And she said, yeah. And he said, hop in. He said he did not kidnap her, that she got in willingly to smoke. And this is when they all smoked together. He would later go on to say that Angel left. She left the two of them. And that's when things got out of hand and he snapped, told her to take off her clothes. He said that she did unwillingly, but that she did it. That's when he said that he strangled her, R'd her, and then went to this swampy area where he disposed of the body. The FBI excavated the site over the next 3 days, and on May 11th, human remains were located buried in the woods off of a gated private drive outside of Georgetown, and they were identified as Brittanee's through DNA and dental records on May 15th. The arrest warrant alleged that Brittanee had been buried the morning of April 26th of 2009. It is rumored that Raymond is terminally ill, because I heard an audio recording of Raymond's ex-boyfriend or ex-husband. See, when Raymond was in prison back in the 80s, he had a lover. He was in there for 21 years and he had a lover. When he got out, him and that lover moved in together that got out of prison as well. And they were together. They were a couple. This lover of his, I'm not sure if they were married. That's why I'm saying lover, because it never came up if they actually got married. So his boyfriend, whatever, would say that after Raymond got off of parole, he changed.
Attitude was, I've done, 25 years of being under supervision. Mm-hmm. And I'm free and I'm going to do what I want. I didn't know him at all. That look. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That look. That one that said, I could kill you. Say it out loud. It makes me so sad. Makes me so sad for that poor family, for that poor girl. And I pictured it. Yeah. I had it going over and over in my head and realizing that he drove right past where I was sleeping. Did you have anything to do with that girl's disappearance? No, I would never do anything like that. I would never do anything like that. And I guess I believed him. But that thing has never left me. But he's dying of brain cancer and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, well, I don't really care, I hope it's painful.
It wouldn't surprise me if he was. I'm a medical doctor. I am.
And his boyfriend ended up breaking up with Raymond because Raymond was cheating on him with this chick, Angel. Okay? Why any of these people are with this man with these original charges he had back in the 80s, I don't understand. I understand forgiveness and all of that, but anyways, this ex-boyfriend is the one that said that Raymond, allegedly, he said it, not me, I don't know Raymond, but he said that Raymond has terminally ill brain cancer, and that is how Raymond has now lost his eye, and that he's dying anyways. And that guy actually said, good. On October 19th of 2022, Raymond pled guilty to all the charges and was then sentenced to life in prison with an additional 2 consecutive terms of 30 years. At the beginning of this year, Brittanee's mother, Dawn, filed a lawsuit against Raymond for wrongful death, citing intentional infliction of emotional distress and outrage. The lawsuit states that Dawn is entitled to actual damages, special damages, consequential damages, and punitive damages due to the medical bills that she has occurred during this whole ordeal, which you guys can only imagine. And by the way, I'm losing daylight here, so it's getting darker and darker because I sit in front of a window. Dawn, this mother has truly been through the ringer. Unimaginable. When you say life is unfair, I mean, all of these videos that we do over here, but when you just think about this mother, everything that she's gone through. Then she gets this letter from him. It was a handwritten letter where he said, I do deny each and every question or statement listed in the request for admission. Thank you, Raymond Moody. That man don't care about nobody but himself, and he's just up in prison and probably got him another boyfriend. Dying, allegedly, of, whatever. Now, what do I think? I think this case makes me so mad, and I think, allegedly, in my opinion, completely... just throwing it out there. I don't know. I wasn't there. That chick Angel got away with something. I think when you go and watch the interview of her in 2021, and she's allegedly still out there. She might be watching this video right now for all I know, but I'm not a professional, but this is my opinion. I think that she wanted to please her man, Raymond, and they lured her And had she fulfilled this fantasy that was getting worse and worse with him, that he couldn't contain himself with, because the moment that she saw that missing poster, she should have went down to the police and said, I seen that girl. We was smoking with her. Who, by the way, who with their man goes and picks up a teenager and leaves them alone? Okay, toodaloo, guys. See y'all in the morning. Ask no questions, girl. Bye. Because get this too, after he confessed, when he said, I will confess, but the stipulations are you have to leave Angel out of this, she allegedly has stuck by his side afterwards while he's in prison too. Like, I don't know, y'all. Seems like somebody got away with something. I don't know, I'm nobody. But it just, something ain't right with that. Something seems weird. I am happy that the family at least knows what happened to their daughter. They were able to bring her home and give her the proper burial that she needs or needed. But I mean, it was a lifetime of suffering for her mother and her family and her father and everybody that loved her. And then not only that, this Timothy guy who people really believed that he did this, because you got the other two guys in prison making up this story allegedly so they can try to get some time knocked off of their sentence. And you got this Timothy guy who's completely innocent. And then on top of it, he allegedly fails a polygraph test. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine being completely innocent, taking a polygraph test with the FBI and them coming back and saying, you failed it? What? Like, a whole mess. So sad, so infuriating. The family, and then again, like I said in the beginning of this video, this could have been so many of us, right? The sneaking out. Oh my gosh, the amount of times I got into cars with people that I did not know. Wow. Y'all know, some of y'all were there too. You know, some of y'all have teenagers that you are doing everything you can to keep them from sneaking out or doing things. This is a cautionary tale for the people that think it can't happen. It can, and it does. And thankfully, because of social media, we can talk about it more now. But, 20, 30 years ago, there was no internet, and your mama told you, don't sneak out, somebody's going to get you. Yeah, right. She was 17, going to go hang out with her friends, gets into an argument, and who really knows what happened? Was she walking down the road and they snatched her up? I think so. I don't think Brittanee wanted to go, and I just don't believe that. I think that that's what they're saying to keep Angel out of trouble. I don't know. That's just my personal, unprofessional opinion. Y'all do y'all's own research and come up with your own, and let me know down below what y'all think. I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I'm so fired up about this case. I love you guys. I hope y'all have a great weekend, and I will see y'all next week. Let me know what y'all think down below. Love you guys. Bye.